Puerto Rico is not for sale. That's always been more than a slogan. It's a battle cry, a declaration from a people who refuse to watch their island be sold off to the highest bidder. In July 1998, the streets of Puerto Rico erupted as the people shut down the island in defense of something they had built with their own hands, La Telefónica del Pueblo. But it was never just about a phone company. It was about sovereignty, about pride, and about refusing to be used by a system designed to extract, exploit, and discard. Since 1898, Puerto Rico has been a US colony taken by force, governed without consent, and reshaped to serve corporate interests. Its political structures were engineered to serve Wall Street and Washington, not the working people of the island. And in the 1990s, Governor Pedro Rosselló, eager to prove Puerto Rico's readiness for statehood to his masters in Congress, doubled down on neoliberalism, slashing public services, privatizing public goods, and selling off the island piece by piece. La Telefónica, the Puerto Rico telephone company, was next. Despite their usual lies about inefficiency, this wasn't some broken down agency. It was modern, profitable, and served every corner of the island. It had been taken back from US control and turned into a model of public success. As the island approached the 100th anniversary of US occupation, the government moved to sell off La Telefónica to US telecom giant GTE. But the people rose up. On June 19, 1998, thousands of telephone workers went on strike and occupied their facilities. They stood strong against police violence. The streets filled with outrage and solidarity. Teachers, electrical workers, students, truckers all began to join. From picket lines to plazas, Puerto Ricans stood shoulder to shoulder. The chant echoed across the island, La Telefónica no se vende, La Telefónica se defiende. It all led to July 7th, kicking off the first general strike in a generation. 500,000 people flooded the streets. Ports shut down, schools closed, banks and malls emptied. The international airport was blockaded. For 48 hours, the island ground to a halt. It was a show of power from a people tired of being robbed. The government responded with violence and lies, even as the governor fled from the island to hide. Riot police cracked heads, and the media downplayed the uprising at the governor's behest. The New York Times ran a full-page ad absurdly claiming only 13,000 had participated, when in fact over 500,000 had taken to the streets. They tried to discredit the movement, but the people knew the truth. And while the strike didn't stop the sale, the US-backed government pushed through privatization despite popular opposition, the people had proven something. This wasn't just about phone lines or layoffs. It was about sovereignty, about the right to decide what happens on our island to our people with what we've built. The seeds planted in 1998 didn't die. They took root and grew. A year later, in 1999, mass protests called to expel the US Navy. In 2009, another general strike rocked the island as workers rose against mass layoffs and austerity. In 2010, students shut down the University of Puerto Rico. Unions marched in solidarity. In 2017, workers protested the US-imposed fiscal control board, La Junta, and the mass privatization of electricity and public services. And then came 2019. A new governor, the same last name, Ricardo Rosselló, the son of the man who pushed privatization in 1998. When leaked chats exposed his administration's corruption, cruelty, and contempt for the people, Puerto Ricans didn't just demand apologies, they mobilized. They remembered 1998. They remembered the power of a united people, and this time, they finished the job. Over 1.1 million people, nearly a third of the island, poured into the streets. General strikes, mass marches, road blockades, music, righteous rage. From San Juan to Mayagüez, the island rose. And this time, they didn't stop until they won. On August 2nd, 2019, Governor Ricardo Rosselló resigned. That victory wasn't spontaneous. It was the fruit of decades of struggle, of lessons learned in 1998, of organizing passed down through unions, student movements, cultural workers, and communities. It was a continuation of a fight that has always been about more than any single governor or company. Today, as Puerto Rico continues to suffer under colonial rule, as our schools, our electricity, our beaches, and our homes are handed to investors and crypto billionaires, we remember the summer of 1998. We remember what it felt like to shut down an island And we remember that this island is not for sale. Puerto Rico no se vende, la patria se defiende.